We feel blessed to be joined by three women who have transformed unimaginable pain into inspiring promise. Sybrina Fulton, Lucy McBath, and Wanda Johnson all lost their sons in tragic killings and acts of violence. Today, Dr. Fulton honors her son, Trayvon Martin, as an advocate and as the founder of the foundation that bears his name. Lucy McBath is now Congresswoman McBath, and she pays tribute to the memory of her son, Jordan Davis, while serving as the representative of Georgia's 6th District. And here in Oakland, Reverend Johnson, whose son Oscar Grant was killed just minutes away at Fruitvale Station, is helping bring together a community that is still grappling with too much loss. Together, they will be joined on stage by John Legend for a powerful conversation. Please welcome them all to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I want to thank these wonderful women here for joining us tonight. We're gathered here marking the 5th anniversary of the launch of My Brother's Keeper. It's an initiative and a movement that's sparked by both tragic loss and by the possibilities of what could be for our sons and for our daughters. And as I look out into the crowd at the faces of the people eager to make a difference, I want to just thank you all for being here and ask a question to our lovely guests here today to make sure we get their wisdom. The first question is to Dr. Sybrina. Dr. Fulton, over the last 6 years, you've worked tirelessly to emotionally and financially support families who have lost a loved one to unexpected gun violence. Could you share a little bit more about your efforts with the Trayvon Martin Foundation and what lessons you've learned in promoting healing and restoring faith among parents and among families?
I'm very honest about the tragedy. It absolutely was something that was very sad and disappointing. But through the pain, we started the Trayvon Martin Foundation, and through the foundation as a vessel, we do have different programs like the Circle of Mothers, and these ladies have been to the Circle of Mothers, and it's about empowering other women. It's about strengthening other women. It's about healing. It's about educating other women and for them to go back into their communities and help other mothers. So through the foundation, we have a scholarship program. We have, we do a back-to-school program. We do Trayvon Martin Foundation Remembrance Weekend. And we just ask people who want to participate in the Trayvon Martin Foundation to go to our website. It's trayvonmartinfoundation.org.
How has it helped you through your grieving process to work with other grieving mothers and fathers, and how has it helped you through that?
I can certainly say one of the things that helped me was I was broken, I was hurt, and I really didn't know how to deal with that type of pain. And so I started helping other people in my community. I started helping other mothers, and I reached out to other mothers that I've heard that were victims of senseless gun violence like my son was. And so through that, I started helping other people. And when I started helping other mothers, it kind of took the pressure away from what I was going through. And so that has worked for me, you know, and I know it's God's grace and mercy that actually took me through everything that I went through. And I thank God, you know, that I'm still standing. But by the same token, just to get through all of this, I definitely can say that I was helping other women and other mothers, and that kind of helped me.
Thank you so much. Reverend Johnson, in your recent opening prayer at the Purple Gala hosted by 1,000 Mothers to Prevent Gun Violence, you quoted Ecclesiastes, "To everything there is a season." So what advice would you give us in this season of movement building when so many leaders on the front lines of social justice are grappling with the pain, the fatigue, and the emotional weight that we carry with us?
So I first thank God. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that there's a time and a season for everything. And so when we look at that time and season, and in today's environment, when our leaders are grappled with pain and going through different things, one of the things that I want to say is, number one, don't lose your faith. Stay hopeful. Continue to fight. Stay in the press. No matter what it looks like, don't give up. Keep pushing. The second thing that I want to encourage you to do is, as you stay hopeful, don't lose faith. Sometimes we want to give up. But a boxer, when he gets in that ring, his purpose is to win. And he takes the left jabs and he takes the right jabs. And he doesn't give up, but he keeps on fighting. He keeps on going. And so in that, I say to you that no matter how it may seem like the changes are not coming, it may seem like we're still facing injustices, but don't look at it face value, because eyes have not seen nor ears heard, neither has it entered the hearts of man, the things that God has prepared. And so even though you may not see it physically, you still have to keep believing that it's going to transpire, it's going to take place. And the last thing that I want to say is this: it's important for us to unify as we fight to equal rights, as we fight for justice, as we fight, and we must come together as one. We have to band as one. And going back to just the beginning, in Ecclesiastes, there's a verse that says that only through God, and I'm paraphrasing, only through God can we accomplish these things. So as we come together as one, not looking at who's the leader, but if we come together with our eyes focused on the prize, that's when we can accomplish everything that we need to accomplish. When we put down our organizations and say we have that first goal in mind, and that is for equality for all, that's when we will see change in America. And I say to you today that no matter what it looks like, that the race that we're on is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but is given to the one who endures till the end. And we must endure till the end. We must continue to fight. We must continue to press and move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. The word. Thank you so much. Now we have a newly minted Congresswoman in our midst today. Congresswoman McBath, I want to congratulate you, first of all, for being part of an historical class at the United States House of Representatives. More women than we've ever seen in Congress in history, the most diverse class in Congress's history. What does this role mean to you as a newly minted Congresswoman?
Well, it is somewhat surreal, but definitely I know that I have been chosen for times such as this. I could not be more grateful to be able to kind of walk out and carry out everything that I was trying to instill within my own child. I was teaching Jordan to care about his fellow man. I was teaching Jordan to stand up in the face of diversity and unrighteousness and to speak out for those that did not have a voice. And so for me to be able to execute the very things I was trying to teach him is truly a blessing for me, and I'm very excited to be part of such a great class that really, I think, stands up to be what democracy looks like now across America.
Now, when we think of My Brother's Keeper, a lot of us think about the nonprofit programs, but many of the issues that our communities face are due to structural inequities. So let's talk about the role that legislation and policy play in this struggle for equal rights, and particularly when it comes to gun violence. How do you think about your role in the policy sense?
Well, I will say that as a legislator in Congress, it is our accountability and responsibility to address the very issues that we're talking about today. The disparities that we have towards young men and boys and people of color. Also, secondly, I'd like to say that being a member of Congress, we are afforded great power and authority, the power of the purse, to be able to determine and appropriate the funds that are to be used around the nation federally for specific programs, also federal funding for all of our state legislatures. What I'd like to say in that regard is that I implore each and every young man here to step up and to take your place in the federal legislatures and also the state legislatures, because even though I have, as a legislator, the ability to appropriate the funds, it is you that would decide exactly what that money is used for. So to have more men of color sitting at the table is extremely important to be able to adjudicate where that money goes and what that money is to be used for. Secondly, I'd like to say that I think it's extremely important that this legislative body that I sit under always continuously look at ways to keep the citizens that they represent safe. I cannot tell you how many times and hours I have spent speaking to people that don't agree with me about federal background checks for all gun sales. But I will continue in Washington to reach across the aisle to work with Democrats and Republicans, because it's a matter of making sure that everyone in this nation is safe. Also, I think it's just equally important to make sure that we are investing financially into our technical institutions. We do invest into our four-year institutions and our community colleges, but for example, Jordan at one time wasn't really sure he wanted to go on to college. And so I think it's prudent to make sure that we're investing in our technical institutions, our trade schools, because it's a matter of economics. If a young man decides that he doesn't want to go to a four-year institution and he decides to become a tradesman or an entrepreneur, then he is actually keeping the economy strong within the community that he lives in. He won't be forced to go outside of the state to find work. And he's adding to the ability of the economy to be strong and vital. So I think these are things that we always need to be considering as a legislative body. But I would implore each and every young man, stand up and take your place. Take your seat at the table.
But Dr. Fulton, with your organization, have you all gotten involved with policy changes that you want to see as well when it comes to looking at issues of gun violence and stand your ground and other legal issues? Have you all gotten involved on that side of things as well?
Yes, we absolutely have gotten involved, but it's pretty hard to, it took a long time for us to get in the situation that we're in, and we're finding ourselves in a hole, and it's hard to get out of that situation with changing Stand Your Ground to try to revise it or try to amend the Stand Your Ground law. But there is legislation that they are trying to make changes to Stand Your Ground and also to gun laws. Parkland, the 17 people that were killed a year ago in February, that happened in Florida, about 30 minutes from my house, and we recently went to, the foundation recently went to, the memorial they had for the 17 students, and it's so fresh. It feels the same. It really does not matter the color of their skin. It's just, that 17 lives were lost. And so they definitely have to do something about gun violence and gun laws and making sure that we have stricter laws for gun owners.
So let's talk a little bit, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the emotional aspect. What is it like as a mother to, after your son and your family have already been victimized, to see their names in the press and you see people on different sides of the issue demonizing them, trying to make it seem like it was their fault that something like this happened to them? Can you talk about what it feels like, any of you, as a mother, to see that?
Well, of course, as we've said over and over again, this is a club that no one wants to be a part of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. But I think that each of us also understands the larger picture. I think that, we're all God-fearing women, and I think that we have understood that God is using our children and using our families and our tragedies for a larger purpose, and that we have a mantle that we carry on our shoulders, not just for our families, but for our communities and for the nation. And we are leading the charge in what I call this modern-day civil rights movement. The civil rights movement that has still been taking place, and we're just leading this phase and this charge of it. But we do take this very seriously. We know that much is at stake, and that we bear the burden of every child, every young man that we look at. We see our sons in your faces. And so we continue to champion and fight with every breath of our being because we know that it matters.
Reverend, you want to talk about that as well?
And so, just to add on to what Congresswoman said, as we see each one of you, and we work to not only see you, but to encourage you, to let you know that God has created you for this time, and that He has created each one of you with special gifts, talents, and abilities to be able to lead this nation for us, because you are our tomorrow, and you are the ones who will lead us as we are getting older. You will be the ones who will be on the front lines. And so because of that, we want to make sure that the laws and the legislation is for you. We want to make sure that you are having the equal rights. We want to make sure that you're having the education that you need. We want to make sure that you're having the jobs, the employment that you want, and the equal housing. We want to make sure that you are treated equally as all people. And so in that, we will continue to fight. We will continue, when we see any injustice, to speak up about it so that our voices are heard and so that people are held accountable for their actions.
What was it like for you, Dr. Fulton? Because I know your son got so much, his case got so much attention in the media. You see folks that want to demonize the victim, want to drag their name in the mud. Talk about what that felt like as a mother.
It was very painful, but at the same time, I had to stay focused. That when this initially happened, we were focused on getting the arrest, and then after that, a conviction. And then once we didn't get the conviction, we were focused on just making sure, well, we knew that we could not help Trayvon, but it's not about Trayvon anymore. It's about everybody that's in here, the young men that's in here. And so we have to keep fighting. We have to we can't give up. We don't have room to give up. We just have to make sure we encourage other people to do their part. Even though my son's name was everywhere, even when I went in other countries, his name was being said, and it was on the news in other countries as well. I'm very honest with my feelings that I would not have sacrificed my son. By the same token, because Trayvon was a sacrifice and Jordan was a sacrifice and Oscar Grant was a sacrifice, we have to stand up and be the voice for the voiceless.
So what do you want these young folks to take from this? What do you want them to go out and do? Reverend?
I want them to go out knowing that, again, you were created for a purpose. And no matter what you go through in this life, if you have the Creator in your heart, there is no obstacle that you cannot overcome. And even though you may fall, the Bible says that a righteous man falleth 7 times, but he gets up again. Even though you may fall, you may stumble as you have set goals. But I want to encourage you to get up again and keep pressing forward. That there's nothing that you cannot obtain if you keep your focus on the prize and if you have God as your creator in your life. There's nothing that you cannot overcome. And so I just want to encourage you today is that even if you're in college and it may seem like it's too hard, there's no time limit. All we say is make it to the finish line, graduate, and continue pressing forward. And you can become whatever you have set in your heart to become as you continue to work on that. And know that you are uniquely different from any person that you even sit next to. And what you have been called and assigned to do, can't nobody but do it but you. And so don't look at your neighbor when it seems like your neighbor is excelling. Don't look at your neighbor, but just keep your eyes on your goal. And if you do that, if you allow no jealousy to come into your heart, but if you keep focused on what you're assigned to do, you will be successful and you will make it at every obstacle that you face.
Thank you, Reverend. Congresswoman, would you like to give a final message to the group?
I want you to know that you are good enough. You are smart enough. You are wise enough. You have everything that you need to succeed. Stand up. Take your place. Do not be afraid. I know that there are things in the culture around you that would have you to be afraid or to fear your ability to be successful. But understand and know that all of your ancestors before you and all of your communities and your families and your parents support you. You stand on our shoulders, and we are here for you. Go forth, do what you are ordained to do and be, and do it in freedom, and do not be afraid.
Dr. Fulton.
I brought my son along with me, and I kind of looked out in the audience, but I don't see him right now. Where are you, Javaris? Don't make me come down there.
They're pointing at him over to the
They
right.
pointing at, okay. If he could just stand up or wave his hand.
There he is.
So I'm going to talk directly to the young guys. I'm going to talk directly to your brother's keepers. I just want you to know that although Trayvon is not here, for me to watch him grow, to watch him excel, to watch him be great, I want all of those things for you. I want all of those things for my son, just like I want for you. I want you to be educated. I want you to be strong. I want you to be followers. I want you to be leaders and not followers. I want you to do whatever your mind is telling you to do and stay focused on what you need to do. I want you to surround yourself with positive people. I want you to always keep a word in your heart. You gotta have a word. You gotta have it. Because guess what? When everybody else is gone, you have to encourage yourself. So that's what I want for you.
Let's stand up for these ladies. Thank you so much.